98.9% of you are not subscribed. Enter and subscribe because of the amount of 1,000 subscribers I will post a very special video for you. The crash landing. The vastness of space stretched out infinitely in all directions, a canvas of blackness dotted with distant stars that blinked like tiny eyes watching over the cosmos. The spaceship, Odyssey, drifted silently, a tiny speck in the immense void, its engines humming softly as it navigated through the galaxy. On board, Captain Jack Reynolds reviewed the latest star charts, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Everything looks stable," Jack muttered to himself, his eyes flicking over the control panels. He glanced over at his co-pilot, Lieutenant Emma Carter, who was busy recalibrating the ship's navigational systems. "How's it looking on your end, Emma?" Jack asked, leaning back in his chair. Emma looked up, her green eyes flashing with a hint of excitement. "We're on course, Captain. No anomalies detected. We should reach our destination within the next 48 hours. Jack nodded, satisfied. The mission was straightforward. Conduct a routine survey of a distant star system and return with the data. But deep down, Jack felt a sense of unease. Space travel was never truly routine. The unpredictable nature of the universe always had a way of surprising even the most seasoned astronauts. The rest of the crew was scattered throughout the ship, each member absorbed in their tasks. Dr. Alan Weiss, the ship's medical officer, was in the infirmary conducting routine health checks, while engineers Luis Mendoza and Priya Sharma were down in the engine room, ensuring that every system was running smoothly. As Jack contemplated the mission, a sudden jolt rocked the Odyssey, sending a wave of alarm through the crew. The ship's lights flickered, and the steady hum of the engines became a frantic whine. "Report!" Jack barked, his voice cutting through the confusion. Emma's hands flew over the controls. "We're caught in a gravitational anomaly. It's pulling us off course." Jack's mind raced. They were too far from any known planets or stars for a gravitational anomaly to be a natural occurrence. "Can we break free?" Emma shook her head, panic creeping into her voice. "It's too strong. We're being pulled in." "All hands, brace for impact," Jack shouted into the intercom, his heart pounding. The Odyssey lurched violently as it was dragged towards an unseen force. The crew clung to their stations, their faces etched with fear and determination. The ship's descent was rapid and chaotic. The view screen filled with a swirling mass of colors as they were pulled into what appeared to be a wormhole. The ship shuddered, metal creaking under the immense pressure, and then, just as suddenly as it began, the turbulence stopped. The Odyssey emerged into a clear, star-filled sky, but something was different. The stars were unfamiliar, and a massive blue planet loomed ahead, its surface covered in lush greenery and vast oceans. "Where are we?" Luis's voice crackled over the intercom. Emma's fingers danced across the controls, her expression a mix of awe and confusion. "The navigational systems are fried. I can't pinpoint our location, but we're definitely not in the same part of the galaxy." Jack's mind whirled with possibilities. They had been pulled through a wormhole and deposited in an unknown region of space. But why? And by what? "Prepare for atmospheric entry," Jack ordered, his voice steady despite the chaos. "We need to find a place to land and assess the situation." The crew scrambled to their stations as the Odyssey entered the planet's atmosphere. The descent was rough, the ship's hull glowing red-hot as it plummeted towards the surface. Jack's knuckles were white as he gripped the controls, guiding the ship through the turbulence. After what felt like an eternity, the Odyssey broke through the clouds, revealing a breathtaking landscape below. Towering mountains, dense forests, and sparkling rivers stretched as far as the eye could see. But there was no time to admire the view. They needed to land safely. "There's a clearing ahead," Emma pointed out, her eyes fixed on the view screen. "Got it," Jack replied, adjusting their trajectory. The ship descended rapidly, the clearing growing larger and more defined with each passing second. Finally, with a bone-jarring thud, the Odyssey touched down, skidding across the ground before coming to a stop. The crew sat in stunned silence, the reality of their situation sinking in. They were stranded on an unknown planet, far from home, with no immediate way to contact Earth. Jack unbuckled his harness and stood up, his legs unsteady. "Is everyone okay?" One by one, the crew members responded, confirming that they were uninjured. Jack nodded, relief washing over him. "All right, let's assess the damage and figure out where we are." The crew disembarked from the ship, stepping onto the soft, grassy ground. The air was warm and filled with unfamiliar scents. Birds with vibrant plumage chirped in the trees, and strange, colorful flowers dotted the landscape. Luis and Priya immediately set to work inspecting the ship's exterior, while Dr. Weiss began checking the crew for any injuries or signs of shock. Jack and Emma ventured a little further, surveying their surroundings. "This place is incredible," Emma whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Jack nodded, his gaze sweeping across the landscape. "It's beautiful, but we can't let our guard down. We have no idea what kind of life forms might be here, or if the environment is completely safe." As they explored, they came across a stream of crystal-clear water. Emma knelt down, dipping her hand in and taking a cautious sip. The water seemed safe, at least. Jack activated his communicator. "Luis, how's the ship looking?" Luis's voice crackled back. "We've got some damage to the hull and the navigational systems are shot, but the life support and basic systems are still operational. We can survive here for a while, but we'll need to find a way to repair the ship if we ever want to leave." Jack sighed, running a hand through his hair. "All right, we'll set up camp here and start making plans. Emma, let's head back and help the others." As they made their way back to the ship, a strange feeling settled over Jack. Despite the beauty of their surroundings, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. He glanced around, but saw nothing out of the ordinary. Back at the ship, the crew worked together to set up a temporary camp. They erected shelters, set up a perimeter, and began cataloging their supplies. As night fell, they gathered around a makeshift fire, the flickering flames casting shadows on their faces. "We'll take turns keeping watch tonight," Jack announced. "We don't know what kind of wildlife is out there, and I want to make sure we're prepared for anything." The crew nodded in agreement, each member understanding the gravity of their situation. They were stranded on an alien planet, cut off from any form of communication with Earth. Their survival depended on their ability to adapt and work together. As the first watch began, Jack lay down in his makeshift bed, staring up at the unfamiliar stars. Questions swirled in his mind. How had they ended up here? What was this planet, and what kind of life forms inhabited it? Most importantly, how were they going to get home? Sleep came slowly, but eventually, exhaustion overtook him. The night passed uneventfully, and as the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, the crew awoke to a new day on this mysterious planet. "Let's get to work," Jack said, his voice filled with determination. "We need to gather resources, repair the ship, and find a way to contact Earth. We're going to get through this, together." With a sense of purpose, the crew set about their tasks, unaware that their arrival had not gone unnoticed. Hidden among the trees, a pair of bright, curious eyes watched their every move, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the adventure of a lifetime was just beginning. The first few days on the new planet were a whirlwind of activity. Jack divided the crew into teams to cover various tasks. Luis and Priya focused on repairing the ship. Dr. Weiss assessed the local flora and fauna for any potential medicinal uses or hazards. And Emma scouted the immediate area for resources and any signs of intelligent life. Jack and Emma spent their mornings mapping out the surrounding terrain, marking potential sources of food and water. They discovered an abundance of fruit-bearing trees and small game, which was a relief, considering their limited supplies. The planet, with its lush greenery and diverse ecosystem, seemed almost too perfect, a thought that made Jack uneasy. One afternoon, as they trekked through a dense forest, Jack noticed something peculiar. "Emma, look at this!" he called, pointing to a series of markings on a tree trunk. Emma knelt down, studying the symbols. "These look like some kind of writing," she said, her voice tinged with excitement. "This means there's intelligent life here." Jack nodded, his mind racing. "We need to be cautious. If there are sentient beings here, We don't know if they're friendly." They followed the markings, which led them to a small clearing. In the center stood a tall, intricately carved stone pillar covered in the same symbols. Jack reached out to touch the pillar, feeling a strange warmth emanate from it. "This is incredible," Emma whispered. "We need to document this." As they recorded their findings, a sudden rustling in the bushes made them both freeze. Jack drew his sidearm, signaling Emma to stay back. The rustling grew louder, and then, from the underbrush, emerged a group of figures. Jack's eyes widened in shock. The figures were humanoid, but with strikingly beautiful features and luminescent skin that glowed softly in the dim light of the forest. Their eyes, large and expressive, regarded the humans with curiosity. "Hello," Jack said cautiously, lowering his weapon. "We mean you no harm." The leader of the group, a tall figure with flowing silver hair, stepped forward and spoke in a melodious language that Jack couldn't understand. Emma stepped up beside him, her linguistic training kicking in as she tried to decipher their speech. "We need to establish communication," Emma said, her voice steady. "Let's show them we're peaceful." Jack nodded, holstering his weapon. He extended his hand in a universal gesture of goodwill. The leader of the alien group mirrored his action, their delicate fingers brushing against his. A sense of calm washed over Jack, as if the alien was conveying their peaceful intentions through the touch. Emma produced a small device from her pack, a portable translator. She activated it, and the device began to analyze the alien's speech patterns. After a few moments, it emitted a series of beeps and chirps. The alien leader spoke again, and this time the translator produced a rough approximation of their words. "Welcome, travelers. We are the Alara. You have arrived on our planet, Nerys." Jack smiled, relieved at the breakthrough. "Thank you for welcoming us. We are explorers from a distant world. Our ship was damaged and we seek assistance." The Alara leader, who introduced herself as Lyra, nodded. "We sensed your arrival and have been observing you. Our healers and engineers will aid you." Over the next few days, the Alara worked alongside the human crew to repair the Odyssey. Their technology was advanced, seamlessly integrating with the ship's systems. Lyra and her people were incredibly hospitable, sharing their knowledge and resources generously. Jack and Emma spent more time with Lyra, learning about the Alara's culture and history. They discovered that the Alara were a matriarchal society, with women holding the positions of power and leadership. Their society was deeply connected to nature, and they lived in harmony with their environment. One evening, as the sun set, casting a golden glow over the landscape, Lyra took Jack and Emma to a sacred grove. "This place is the heart of our people," Lyra explained. "It is where we come to seek guidance and connect with our ancestors." Jack looked around in awe at the towering trees and the ethereal light that seemed to dance among the leaves. "It's beautiful," he said softly. Lyra smiled, her eyes reflecting the golden light. "We believe that all life is interconnected, that the universe brought you here for a reason." Emma nodded, feeling a deep sense of respect for these people. "We are grateful for your help. We hope to repay your kindness someday." As the days turned into weeks, a bond formed between the humans and the Alara. The repairs to the Odyssey were nearly complete, but the crew felt a growing reluctance to leave this paradise. One night, as they gathered around a fire with their Alara friends, Jack addressed his crew. "We've been given an incredible opportunity to learn from these wonderful people, but we must also remember our mission. We need to return to Earth and share what we've discovered." The crew nodded, understanding the gravity of their situation. They had a duty to their home planet, but the thought of leaving Nerys and their new friends was bittersweet. Lyra approached Jack, sensing his inner conflict. "Captain, your journey does not have to end here. There is much we can learn from each other. Stay a while longer, explore our world, and perhaps you will find what you seek." Jack looked into Lyra's eyes, feeling a deep connection. "Thank you, Lyra. We will stay and learn for now, but we must eventually return home." Lyra nodded, her expression serene. "We understand, and when the time comes, we will help you find your way back." With that understanding, The crew of the Odyssey settled into life on Nerys. They continued to explore the planet, uncovering its many wonders and deepening their bond with the Alara. Emma delved into the study of the Alara language and culture, documenting their traditions and beliefs. Luis and Priya marveled at the advanced engineering techniques of the Alara, learning new methods that could revolutionize Earth's technology. Dr. Weiss was fascinated by the medicinal plants and healing practices of the Alara, which had the potential to advance human medicine. Jack found himself spending more and more time with Lyra. They shared stories of their worlds, their hopes, and their dreams. Despite the vast differences between their species, they found common ground in their desire for peace and understanding. One day, as they walked along a serene lakeshore, Lyra turned to Jack with a serious expression. "There is something you should know, Jack. Our world is not without its dangers. There are those who do not welcome outsiders." Jack frowned, sensing the gravity of her words. "What do you mean?" Lyra sighed, her gaze distant. "The Alara are not the only sentient beings on Nerys. There are other tribes, some of whom view outsiders with suspicion and hostility. We have managed to coexist peacefully, but your presence has caused a stir." Jack nodded, understanding the potential implications. "We don't want to cause any trouble. We will be careful." Lyra placed a hand on his arm, her touch warm and reassuring. "We will do everything we can to protect you. But be vigilant. The peace here is fragile." As Jack relayed Lyra's warning to his crew, they redoubled their efforts to integrate respectfully into Alara society, while maintaining their readiness to depart if necessary. They continued their studies, their explorations, and their interactions with the Alara, always mindful of the underlying tensions. One evening, as the crew gathered to discuss their progress, a sudden commotion erupted outside the camp. Jack and Emma rushed out to find a group of Alara warriors confronting a band of fierce-looking aliens with dark, angular features and eyes that glowed with an eerie light. Lyra stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "These are the Krail, a tribe from the southern forests. They believe that our association with you threatens the balance of our world." The Krail leader, a tall, imposing figure with a stern expression, pointed at the humans. "Your presence here endangers us all. Leave this planet or face the consequences." Jack stepped forward, his tone diplomatic but resolute. "We mean no harm. We are explorers seeking knowledge and understanding. We will leave once our ship is repaired, but we ask for your patience and cooperation." The Krail leader's eyes narrowed. "Your words are empty. You bring change, and change brings chaos." Lyra interceded, her voice soothing. "We can find a way to coexist. Violence is not the answer." The tension in the air was palpable as the two sides faced off. Jack could feel the weight of the moment, knowing that their actions here could determine their fate. After a long, tense silence, the Krail leader relented. "We will give you time, but know this, we are watching." With that, the Krail retreated into the forest, leaving the humans and the Alara to ponder the fragile peace they had managed to maintain. In the days that followed, the crew worked tirelessly to complete the repairs on the Odyssey. They also continued their efforts to learn and understand the intricacies of Alara society, hoping to foster a lasting bond that could withstand any future challenges. As the ship neared completion, Jack gathered his crew and their Alara friends for a final meeting. "Our time here has been extraordinary. We've learned so much and made incredible friends, but we have a duty to return to Earth and share what we've discovered." Lyra stepped forward, her eyes reflecting a mix of emotions. "We will miss you, but we understand. Know that you will always have a place here on Nerys." Emma, speaking for the crew, expressed their gratitude. "Thank you, Lyra. You've given us more than we could have ever hoped for. We won't forget you." With the ship ready for departure, the crew said their goodbyes, promising to return if the opportunity ever arose. As they boarded the Odyssey and prepared for takeoff, Jack looked out at the gathered Alara, feeling a deep sense of connection. As the ship lifted off, the crew watched Nerys grow smaller in the view screen, each of them reflecting on their time on the beautiful, mysterious planet. They knew that their journey was far from over, and that the experiences and friendships they had forged would shape their future in ways they had yet to comprehend. As the Odyssey soared through the vastness of space, the crew couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and anticipation for the adventures that lay ahead. They had faced challenges, discovered new worlds, and forged bonds that transcended the boundaries of species and planets. Their journey had taught them that the universe was filled with wonder and possibility, and that the greatest discoveries often came from the most unexpected places. And so, with hearts full of hope and minds brimming with curiosity, the crew of the Odyssey continued their voyage, ready to face whatever the cosmos had in store for them. They knew that no matter where their journey took them, they would always carry the spirit of Nerys and the lessons of the Alara with them. The adventure had only just begun. The enigmatic message. The Odyssey cruised through the starry expanse, its crew engrossed in their duties, but their thoughts often drifting back to Nerys and the Alara. The bond they had formed with Lyra and her people was unlike anything they had ever experienced. Each crew member felt the weight of the knowledge and wisdom they had gained, and a sense of purpose drove them forward. As they journeyed further into uncharted space, Jack and Emma spent countless hours analyzing the data they had collected on Nerys. The intricacies of the Alara language, culture, and technology fascinated them, and they were determined to understand as much as possible. One day, as Emma sifted through the recordings of their conversations with Lyra, she stumbled upon something peculiar. "Jack, come take a look at this," she called, her voice tinged with curiosity. Jack joined her at the console, peering at the screen. "What did you find?" Emma replayed a segment of the conversation, slowing it down and isolating certain frequencies. "Listen closely. There's a pattern here, almost like a secondary message layered beneath their words." Jack listened intently, his brow furrowing. "You're right. It sounds like a code or a hidden message. Can you decode it?" Emma nodded, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "I'll try. It might take some time, but if there's a hidden message, we'll find it." As Emma worked on decoding the message, Jack briefed the rest of the crew. They were all intrigued by the possibility of uncovering more about the Alara and their intentions. The ship's atmosphere buzzed with anticipation as Emma delved deeper into the cryptic message. Days turned into weeks, and finally Emma made a breakthrough. "I've got it!" she exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. The crew gathered around the console as Emma displayed the decoded message. It was a set of coordinates, accompanied by a simple phrase: "Seek the Guardians." Jack's mind raced. Guardians? Do you think they could be referring to another advanced civilization? Luis, who had been following the developments closely, chimed in. "It's possible. The Alara's technology was far beyond anything we've seen. Maybe these Guardians are even more advanced." Priya nodded thoughtfully. "If the Alara wanted us to find them, there must be a good reason. We should investigate." With the coordinates plotted into the navigation system, the Odyssey altered its course, heading towards the unknown. The journey took them through a series of breathtaking star systems, each more awe-inspiring than the last. Nebulas swirled in vibrant colors, and distant planets glimmered with untold possibilities. As they approached the coordinates, a sense of anticipation filled the ship. The crew was eager to uncover the mystery behind the message and learn more about the Guardians. The Odyssey entered a new star system, dominated by a massive gas giant, surrounded by numerous moons. The coordinates led them to one of the moons, a lush world teeming with life. As the Odyssey descended into the atmosphere, the crew marveled at the vibrant forests and sparkling lakes that dotted the landscape. Jack guided the ship to a smooth landing in a clearing near a large body of water. The crew disembarked, stepping onto the soft, grassy ground. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, and the sound of chirping birds created a serene ambiance. "Stay alert," Jack cautioned. "We don't know what to expect." Emma activated her scanner, sweeping the area for any signs of life or technology. "I'm picking up faint energy readings to the north. We should check it out." The crew set off, following the readings through the dense forest. As they ventured deeper, they noticed the vegetation growing thicker and the air becoming warmer. The energy readings grew stronger, guiding them to a hidden valley. In the center of the valley stood an ancient temple, its stone walls covered in intricate carvings and glowing symbols. The structure emanated a sense of timelessness, as if it had stood for millennia, untouched by the passage of time. "This must be it," Jack said, his voice filled with awe. "The Temple of the Guardians." As they approached the temple, the ground beneath their feet began to hum with energy. The symbols on the walls pulsed with light, and the massive stone doors slowly creaked open, revealing a dark, cavernous interior. With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, the crew entered the temple. The air inside was cool and filled with the faint scent of ancient incense. They walked down a long corridor, the walls lined with more glowing symbols that seemed to tell a story. At the end of the corridor, they entered a vast chamber, its ceiling towering high above them. In the center of the chamber stood a large pedestal, upon which rested a crystal orb that radiated a soft blue light. As they approached the pedestal, the orb began to glow brighter, and a holographic image flickered to life above it. The image depicted a tall, regal figure with flowing robes and a wise, serene expression. "Greetings, travelers," the figure said in a melodious voice. "I am Alicia, one of the guardians of this world. We have been expecting you." Jack stepped forward, his heart pounding. "Thank you for welcoming us, Alicia. We are explorers from a distant world. The Alara sent us here with a message." Alicia's image nodded. "The Alara are our allies and friends. They recognized your potential and sent you to us for guidance. We are the Guardians, protectors of knowledge and wisdom. We have watched over this world and others for eons." Emma, her curiosity piqued, asked, "What knowledge can you share with us?" Alicia's image smiled gently. "There is much to learn, but first you must prove your worth. The path to knowledge is not easily walked. You must demonstrate your understanding, your resilience, and your capacity for growth." The crew exchanged determined glances. They had faced countless challenges together, and they were ready to face whatever trials lay ahead. "What must we do?" Jack asked, his voice steady. Alicia's image gestured to the walls of the chamber, which began to shift and rearrange, revealing a series of doorways. "Beyond each doorway lies a trial. Each trial is designed to test different aspects of your abilities. Only by overcoming these trials will you earn the knowledge you seek." With a sense of purpose, the crew prepared to face the trials. They knew that their journey had led them here for a reason, and they were determined to uncover the secrets of the Guardians. Jack, Emma, Luis, Priya, and Dr. Weiss each chose a doorway, stepping into the unknown with a mixture of courage and curiosity. The challenges they faced would test their skills, their knowledge, and their very spirits. Jack's trial led him into a labyrinth filled with shifting walls and hidden traps. He navigated the maze with determination, relying on his training and instincts to guide him. Along the way, he encountered holographic projections of past explorers who shared their wisdom and experiences, helping him to understand the true nature of leadership and sacrifice. Emma's trial took her to a vast library filled with ancient tomes and scrolls. She was tasked with deciphering complex texts and solving intricate puzzles that revealed the history and philosophy of the Guardians. Her linguistic skills and keen intellect were put to the test as she uncovered the deeper meaning behind the Guardians' teachings. Luis's trial placed him in a high-tech workshop where he had to repair and improve advanced machinery. His engineering expertise was challenged as he worked to understand the Guardians' technology and integrate it with his own knowledge. Through trial and error, he learned the importance of innovation and adaptability. Priya's trial involved a journey through a lush, ever-changing landscape where she had to cultivate and harness the planet's natural resources. Her skills as an engineer and scientist were tested as she developed sustainable solutions for energy and food production. She learned the value of harmony with nature and the interconnectedness of all life. Dr. Weiss's trial took him to a healing sanctuary where he encountered various injured and sick beings from different species. His medical knowledge and compassion were put to the test as he worked to heal and comfort those in need. He gained a deeper understanding of the universal principles of health and well-being. As each crew member overcame their trials, they were granted glimpses of the Guardians' vast repository of knowledge. They learned about the history of the universe, the rise and fall of civilizations, and the interconnected web of life that bound all beings together. When they returned to the central chamber, they found Alicia's image waiting for them. "You have proven yourselves worthy," Alicia said, her voice filled with pride. "The knowledge of the Guardians is now yours to share. Use it wisely and with compassion." Jack and his crew bowed in gratitude. "Thank you, Alicia. We will honor your teachings and share them with the universe," Jack promised, his voice echoing in the grand chamber. With their trials complete and their minds enriched with new knowledge, the crew prepared to leave the temple. Alicia's holographic form flickered once more, and she offered a final piece of wisdom. "Remember, the true power of knowledge lies in its application. Use what you have learned to bring harmony and understanding to the worlds you encounter." The stone doors of the temple opened once again, and the crew stepped out into the sunlight. The valley seemed even more vibrant and alive now, as if the planet itself acknowledged their achievement. They made their way back to the Odyssey, where the Alara awaited them with eager anticipation. Lyra approached them, her eyes alight with curiosity. "Did you find the Guardians? What did you learn?" Jack smiled, sharing a look of camaraderie with his crew. "We did. They have entrusted us with their knowledge, and we will use it to benefit all sentient beings. We have a lot to share and much to discuss." Over the next few days, the crew shared their experiences and the wisdom they had gained with the Alara. They worked together to integrate the Guardians' teachings into their own understanding of the universe. The bond between the humans and the Alara grew even stronger, united by a shared quest for knowledge and enlightenment. As the time for departure approached, the crew prepared the Odyssey for its journey back to Earth. They felt a mixture of excitement and sadness, knowing they were leaving behind a place that had become a second home to them. On the day of their departure, Lyra and the Alara gathered to bid them farewell. "You will always have a place here on Nerys," Lyra said, her voice filled with warmth. "May your journey be safe, and your discoveries be many." Jack and his crew boarded the Odyssey, their hearts heavy, but their spirits high. As the ship lifted off, they watched the beautiful landscape of Nerys fade into the distance. They knew they were carrying with them more than just knowledge. They were carrying the spirit of friendship and unity that they had found among the stars. The journey back to Earth was long but filled with purpose. The crew spent their time documenting everything they had learned, preparing to share it with the world. They knew that the knowledge of the Guardians could bring about a new era of understanding and cooperation among the peoples of Earth and beyond. As the Odyssey approached Earth, the crew felt a renewed sense of excitement. They had faced incredible challenges, formed unbreakable bonds, and discovered the true meaning of exploration. Now they were ready to share their story with humanity. When they finally landed, they were greeted as heroes. News of their extraordinary journey had spread, and people from all over the world were eager to hear about their experiences. The crew gave presentations, wrote detailed reports, and collaborated with scientists and leaders to integrate the Guardians' wisdom into Earth's own knowledge base. Jack, Emma, Luis, Priya, and Dr. Weiss became ambassadors of interstellar peace and understanding, traveling to different countries and sharing their story. They spoke of the beauty and diversity of the universe, the importance of cooperation, and the power of knowledge to bring about positive change. As time passed, the teachings of the Guardians began to influence many aspects of life on Earth. New technologies emerged, inspired by the advanced engineering of the Alara and the Guardians. Medical practices improved, drawing from Dr. Weiss's experiences in the healing sanctuary. Environmental sustainability became a global priority, guided by Priya's insights into the interconnectedness of life. The world became a better place, united by a common goal of exploration and understanding. Humanity looked to the stars with renewed hope and curiosity, eager to continue the journey that the crew of the Odyssey had begun. One day, as Jack stood on a stage, addressing a crowd of eager listeners, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Our journey showed us that the universe is vast and filled with wonders beyond our imagination, he said. But it also taught us that the most important discoveries are not just about new worlds or advanced technologies. They are about the connections we make, the friendships we forge, and the understanding we achieve. The crowd erupted in applause, their faces filled with hope and determination. Jack looked out at them, feeling a profound sense of pride and gratitude. He knew that the spirit of the Guardians, the wisdom of the Alara, and the courage of his crew would continue to inspire generations to come. As the sun set on another day, Jack stood with his crew, looking up at the night sky. The stars twinkled brightly, each one a beacon of possibility. They knew that their journey was far from over. The universe was vast, and there were still countless mysteries to uncover, countless connections to make. Together, they would continue to explore, to learn, and to grow. For they were not just astronauts or explorers. They were guardians of knowledge, ambassadors of peace, and pioneers of the future. And so, the adventure continued, with hearts full of hope and eyes set on the stars. The return home. The Odyssey had become a symbol of hope and discovery on Earth, its crew revered as pioneers of a new era of interstellar exploration and cooperation. Jack, Emma, Luis, Priya, and Dr. Weiss found themselves at the forefront of a global movement, spreading the wisdom they had gathered from their journey to Nerys and the Guardians. Despite their busy schedules, the crew often reminisced about their time on Nerys, the friendships they had formed, and the lessons they had learned. They had stayed in touch with Lyra and the Alara, establishing a regular communication link that allowed for the exchange of knowledge and culture between Earth and Nerys. One day, a message from Nerys arrived that would change everything. "Greetings, friends." Lyra's familiar voice came through the communicator. "We have discovered something extraordinary, and we believe it is connected to your past journey. It is imperative that you return to Nerys to investigate further." The crew exchanged excited glances. It had been several years since they had left Nerys, and the prospect of returning to the beautiful, mysterious planet filled them with anticipation. "Prepare the Odyssey for launch," Jack ordered, his voice filled with determination. "We're going back to Nerys." The crew worked tirelessly to ready the ship, their hearts racing with excitement. The journey back to Nerys was a reminder of the vastness of the universe and the endless possibilities that lay ahead. As the Odyssey approached Nerys, the familiar landscape came into view, and the crew felt a sense of homecoming. They landed in the same clearing, greeted by Lyra and the Alara with open arms. "It is good to see you again," Lyra said warmly. "We have much to show you." The crew followed Lyra through the lush forest to a newly discovered temple, similar in design to the one where they had met Alicia. The temple's carvings and symbols were even more intricate, and it seemed to pulse with a vibrant energy. "This temple was hidden from us for centuries," Lyra explained. "It only revealed itself after your departure. We believe it holds a deeper connection to the Guardians and their teachings." As they entered the temple, they were met with a sense of awe and reverence. The air was thick with ancient power, and the walls glowed with an ethereal light. At the center of the main chamber stood another pedestal, this one holding a larger, more radiant crystal orb. "Alicia!" Jack called out, wondering if the Guardian would appear once more. The orb began to glow, and a new holographic figure emerged, this one taller and more regal than Alicia. The figure's presence commanded respect and awe. "Greetings, travelers," the figure intoned. "I am Astra, the guardian of the cosmos. You have proven yourselves worthy, and now you must undertake one final journey." Jack stepped forward, his heart pounding. "What is this journey, Astra?" Astra's image gestured to a series of constellations that appeared on the walls, each one representing a different part of the galaxy. "The Guardians have been watching over many worlds, guiding and protecting life. But there are places where our influence has waned, and darkness threatens to consume the light. You must venture to these worlds and restore balance." Emma's eyes sparkled with determination. "We will do whatever it takes." Astra's image smiled. "Your courage and resolve are commendable. You will not be alone. The Alara will aid you, and you will find allies among the stars. Together you will bring hope and harmony to the universe." The crew felt a sense of purpose and unity as they prepared for this new mission. They knew the challenges ahead would be great, but they were ready to face them with the strength and wisdom they had gained. Over the next few weeks, the Odyssey was outfitted with new technology provided by the Alara, enhancing its capabilities for the journey ahead. The crew trained tirelessly, honing their skills and preparing for the unknown. As the day of departure arrived, Lyra and the Alara gathered to send them off. "Remember, you are not just explorers," Lyra said, her voice filled with pride. "You are bearers of light, guardians of peace. The universe is in your hands." With hearts full of determination and hope, the crew of the Odyssey embarked on their new mission. They traveled to distant worlds, each one unique and filled with its own challenges. They encountered civilizations in need of guidance, planets teetering on the brink of collapse, and forces of darkness that sought to disrupt the balance. But with each challenge, they grew stronger. They forged alliances, shared the knowledge of the Guardians, and worked tirelessly to restore harmony. Their journey took them to the far reaches of the galaxy, but their bond as a crew and their commitment to their mission never wavered. On one particularly challenging mission, they arrived on a planet shrouded in perpetual darkness, where the inhabitants lived in fear of a malevolent force that drained the life from their world. The crew worked with the locals, using the Guardians' teachings to develop a strategy to combat the darkness. As they faced the malevolent force in a final climactic battle, the crew's unity and determination shone through. With the help of their allies and the wisdom of the Guardians, they defeated the darkness, bringing light and hope back to the planet. The grateful inhabitants celebrated their victory, and the crew felt a profound sense of accomplishment. They knew their mission was far from over, but each success strengthened their resolve and their belief in the power of unity and knowledge. Years passed, and the crew of the Odyssey continued their journey, bringing peace and balance to the farthest corners of the galaxy. They became legends, their names known and revered on countless worlds. One day, as they returned to Nerys for a much-needed respite, they were greeted by Lyra and the Alara, who had prepared a grand celebration in their honor. The crew felt a deep sense of homecoming as they reunited with their friends and shared stories of their adventures. During the celebration, Lyra took Jack aside, her eyes filled with warmth and pride. "You have accomplished so much, Jack. You and your crew have changed the universe for the better." Jack smiled, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "We couldn't have done it without you, Lyra. The Alara and the Guardians have been our guiding stars." As they looked up at the night sky, filled with countless stars and endless possibilities, Jack felt a sense of fulfillment and purpose. He knew their journey would continue, but for now, they could enjoy the peace and harmony they had worked so hard to achieve. The Odyssey crew spent several weeks on Nerys, enjoying the beauty and tranquility of the planet. They took the time to reflect on their journey, their achievements, and the friendships they had formed. As they prepared to set off on their next mission, they knew they carried with them the spirit of Nerys, the wisdom of the Guardians, and the strength of their unity. They were more than just astronauts. They were bearers of light, guardians of peace, and pioneers of a brighter future. With hearts full of hope and eyes set on the stars, the crew of the Odyssey continued their journey, knowing that the universe was vast and filled with endless wonders. Their adventure was far from over, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, guided by the light of knowledge, friendship, and unity. And so, the story of the Odyssey and its crew became a beacon of hope and inspiration for generations to come, a testament to the power of exploration, understanding, and the unbreakable bonds that connect us all across the stars.